Have you ever felt like you're just drowning in this alphabet soup of sustainability terms? You hear things like SDGs, ESG, and you're just kind of nodding along? Well, you are definitely not alone. So in the next few minutes, we're going to clear all that up. We're going to connect the dots between the world's biggest ambitions and what companies are actually doing about them every single day. Let's jump in.
I mean, it's a huge question, right? It sounds almost impossible. How can one company, just one, make a real dent in saving the world? But what if I told you there was a roadmap? A way to connect what a single business does to the biggest challenges our planet is facing. Stick with me, because that is exactly what we're about to unpack.
All right, so to really get how one company can make a difference, we've got to start with the big picture. I want you to imagine a massive, global to-do list. Seriously, a plan for a better future for every single person everywhere. And this isn't just for governments or nonprofits. It's a blueprint for all of us.
And that whole giant plan, it all comes down to this one number, 17. Just 17. What could possibly be so important that it all boils down to the number 17?
Yep, you guessed it, 17. That is the number of Sustainable Development Goals, or what you'll hear people call the SDGs. These are the huge, ambitious goals that basically every country in the world agreed to try and achieve. We're talking about massive stuff, like ending poverty, fighting for equality, and tackling climate change head-on. It's basically humanity's shared game plan.
Okay, so we have these massive, world-changing goals. Awesome. But how do you take something as huge as end poverty and turn it into something a regular company can actually do? Well, that is where our next three-letter acronym comes into play. This is how the big ideas actually get down to business.
And that would be ESG. It stands for Environmental, Social, and Governance. Look, if the SDGs are the what we want to achieve, then ESG is the how. It's the practical toolkit companies use to turn those good intentions into actions they can actually measure. This is where the rubber really meets the road.
So let's break that down really quick. First up, you've got E for environment. This one's pretty straightforward. It's all about a company's relationship with the planet. What's its carbon footprint? How does it handle waste? Is it a polluter? How much water and energy is it using? All that nature stuff.
Then we have S for social. And this is all about people. It looks at how a company manages its relationships. How does it treat its own employees? What about the people working for its suppliers way down the chain? How does it interact with the communities where it sets up shop? It's the human side of the business.
And finally, there's G for governance. Think of this as the how the company is run part. Is the leadership open and honest? Are there rules in place to prevent shady stuff from happening? Does it listen to its investors and shareholders? It's basically the internal rule book that keeps a company running ethically.
So why are so many companies talking about ESG all of a sudden? Well, it's not just about feeling good or being nice. It's actually really smart business. A company that does well on ESG is often seen as less risky, more innovative, and, frankly, a better long-term bet. It's all about building a business that people trust and that's built to last.
Okay, now for the part that ties it all together. This is the magic moment. We've got the huge global goals, the SDGs, and we've got the corporate to-do list, ESG. So how do they actually link up? Let's see how the world's plan becomes a company's playbook. I love this analogy because it makes it so incredibly clear. The SDGs, they're the destination we're all trying to get to, right? A healthier, more fair world. But a destination is pretty useless if you don't know how to get there. Well, ESG is the GPS. It's the system that gives a company turn-by-turn directions on its journey toward that better world.
And if we put them side by side, it's even clearer. The SDGs, their scope is global. They're for whole countries, for all of society. Their purpose is to guide the entire world's progress. But ESG, that's focused on a single business. It's for companies and the people who invest in them, and its purpose is to guide that company's specific actions. They're really two sides of the same coin, just operating on different scales. Let's make this super practical. So, say an energy company works really hard to save energy in its factories. That's a great ESG score for its ESG. And boom, it directly helps with SDG number 7, affordable and clean energy. Or maybe a big store decides to use way less plastic in its packaging. That's a solid ESG move that helps SDG 12, responsible consumption. See how it works? A tech firm treating its workers really well, that's the S in action, and it pushes forward SDG 8, decent work. ESG is the how. The SDGs are the why.
So what's the big takeaway from all this? Here's the crucial point. It's this idea that making a profit and caring about the world aren't enemies. They can actually go together. The whole argument is that companies that do well on these ESG issues aren't just doing good. They're actually building stronger, smarter, and ultimately more successful businesses for the future.
Okay, so we've been way up here in the clouds, talking about global goals and corporate strategy, but what does any of this actually have to do with you and your day-to-day life? Let's bring it all the way back home.
The truth is, ESG isn't just some buzzword for CEOs. It affects all of us. It's in the products you decide to buy, the companies you might want to work for, and the businesses you choose to trust with your money. As we learn more about how companies perform on these issues, we get more power. Power to choose. We get to vote with our wallets and our careers for the kind of future that we all want to share.
Which, of course, leaves us with this one last really big question. What is the true responsibility of a business anyway? Is it just about making as much money as possible for its shareholders, or does it have a deeper responsibility to its employees, to its customers, to the planet, and to society as a whole? The rise of ideas like ESG and the SDGs suggests that the answer to that question is changing big time. What do you think?